Finally got a two-fight winning streak going in the UFC. Does it feel good to finally, kind of be having some consistency in your results?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely one I wanted to tick off the list.
You had the big December win over Mark Diakiese. That was a win that the fight itself. I mean, the crowd wasn't loving it, but you had to fight a smart fight, right? I mean, were you happy with the way the fight played out and the result that you got?
I enjoyed the fight. Like it was entertaining in my head. I felt like there was a lot going on, but I understand you have to cater to not just the one style of fans, like the hardcore. They can understand those kinds of things like timing and distance, and maybe if they understand. I don't think they understood kind of the backstory of both of us. And it was like a dangerous fight. Like, he's such an athletic guy, and that's to be respected. And when you have two guys that can take each other out with one shot, there has to be more distance. There has to be a little bit more respect, because you can't just go in there and trade punches with guys. If you come in and trade punches with either of us, you're just going to sleep. Like, come in here, oh yeah, plant my feet and go toe to toe. Like, yeah, let's bang. No, you do that with me, it's over. Like, I only need to hit you once. Like, I'm not like a power puncher or anything like that, but I'm just accurate. And he's the same. So you can just take each other out. So it's a bit more respect. So maybe the fans that didn't know us or had seen us fight before, they didn't appreciate it so much.
I thought it was a smart fight. I definitely thought you were fighting a tactical fight. So when you say that now you realize maybe you have to cater to other fans as well, I mean, do you feel like you'll have to take more chances if you find yourself in a position like that you wouldn't fight the same way?
Nah, man, I've been there, done that, kind of ticked that off the list, and learned a lot of hard lessons in my career from fighting like that, fighting to, entertain the fans, fighting to doing that kind of stuff, going there to brawl and that, and it's just not the best option for my future.
So when you see like a Justin Gaethje fight last weekend, I mean, sets the world on fire, right? But I think people know that he can't fight that way for very long. What do you think when you see a guy do that?
I intend to fight for another 10 years, and I'm sort of I've progressed as a fighter, and developed professionally as a fighter. My first fight was a professional fight, and so I've learned all of my lessons are on my record. So you can go back and you can see all my lessons are there. That's why I have such a mixed record, because I didn't have an amateur and I wasn't developed slowly. I was kind of thrown in the deep end, and I learned how to swim. So seeing a guy like Gaethje, now he's kind of learning these lessons, but he's in a position where he can't change his style or develop his style, because now he's in the spotlight. Now fans expect a certain thing from him, that he kind of has to go out there and just do that same thing. But he's put a cap on his career. Maybe another year fighting like that. He's gonna have to change. He will have to change.
Well, I know you, speaking of your career, wanted to get on the Perth card. That didn't work out. What did you do the last couple months? And was it frustrating to not be able to kind of fight in your backyard?
Yeah, I wanted to get on that card. I messaged straight away. They said the card was full, which I understood. I stayed ready in case anything came up. I'm always training anyway, so it's it's really nothing new. But man, I've been busy back home. There's a lot going on. The exposure and the sport is really just flourishing. And I'm setting up my own gym back in my hometown in Auckland, so there's a lot going on.
So it worked out okay for you maybe then?
Yeah, the blessing in disguise maybe.
Nice. What does that feel like? I mean, the attention, we've seen the sport kind of growing, but it seems especially, with Israel coming in, a handful of other guys as well. I mean, the New Zealand fight scene is really kind of blowing up at the moment, right? What's that feeling like for you?
Less, I would say, growing, more I would say developing. Combat sport has always been massive in New Zealand. Kickboxing especially, we've had for such a long time, and it's boxing as well. We've had it for so long, and it's always been a part of New Zealand culture. It's a very very proud culture, and you know, combat is part of that. Like kind of, it's always been kind of put up there as like a prestige thing, but now it's kind of developing into it's going towards like the mainstream where more people are getting involved and everyone wants to be a part of it, and the sport is developing.
Nice. Let's talk about your career. You get to match up with Jim Miller. You know, I could imagine that a ranked opponent would have been nice, but Jim Miller is certainly a guy that has been around forever. Knowing you and being kind of a fan of the sport, I got to imagine, were you pretty excited with this one?
Yeah, like when I seen Jim Miller, that's a name that I've been looking at since I first started in the sport. So I would prefer this Jim Miller fight over, you know, a couple other guys in the top 15. I really like this fight.
What is it about that you prefer it? Just because of what is the comedy? Why? When you say, because obviously a ranked opponent would move you up the list, but here's a guy that's been around forever. So why like this one better?
I don't know, man. Like he's just such a name. Like that's a name that has been at the pinnacle of the sport since I first got into it. You know, like when I was first starting out, like he was in the UFC, and he was like, it was kind of unimaginable to kind of reach this stage. Just being from New Zealand, when I was fighting, there was no one from New Zealand in the UFC, so there was not really like this connect between being a New Zealand fighter and then progressing towards the UFC and getting these kind of opportunities. It kind of just, it wasn't a thing until I seen Jamie Turner, until I seen Mark Hunt competing in the UFC, and I kind of made that connection that it was a possibility. So for me, this is a fight for me. This is a fight that I want, like, and definitely with Jim's style, like he comes to fight. Like it's gonna be, he's gonna come in there, push a pace, and this is gonna be a big test and a big showing for both of us. For me, it's gonna show whether I belong with that kind of elite tier of the division. And then for Jim, it's going to show a lot of fans like where he stands in the division and how much he still wants to be part of it.
No question about it. You got to go in his backyard to do it. Do you enjoy that? I mean, you know you're going to get booed. You know you're not going to have the crowd on your side. I mean, you've gotten to fight at home. Is it okay being the bad guy, so to speak?
Yeah, no, I'm not fazed at all. I'm pretty used to it. Like my third fight I ever had was overseas, and I was getting booed and stuff, so I'm not it's nothing I'm not new to. Like when New Zealand and Australia have like quite a strong rivalry sporting wise. Once we kind of make it to the UFC, where we get put in the same boat as Anzacs and then promoted, which is good. I like that, you know, that on the global stage, like we kind of work together. That's where it comes from. Like Anzacs, you know, when we go to war, we actually team up and go to war, but sport-wise, man, we're butting heads. So I'm very used to fighting in Australia, and when I used to go over there to fight the hometown guy, I'll get booed and that. So it's different. There's a lot less pressure on you.
Nice. You always seem to have your finger on the pulse of what's going on. I know you like fighting in New Zealand. I know you like fighting in Australia. You've picked your spots pretty well over your career. What are you planning on going from here? I mean, this would be a big win. This would be a signature win for you. Are you hearing any rumblings of a fight down there? You got a date or a spot picked out?
Nah, like I haven't heard too many rumors about the next show in Australia. Yeah, generally, like I get a couple guys like tipping me off, like letting me know what's up. But nah, I haven't had anything. They're kind of treating that next show in Singapore like an Australian card. They're stacking that full of Aussies, so they might just be doing that. I expect it to be back November, maybe a Melbourne card in November, but that's a bit long to wait, right? I can't sit around for that long. So, you know me, I like quick turnarounds. Maybe fight week back in Vegas. That's one I'll keep my eye on.
Very nice. Well, on paper, this could be a really fun fight. I mean, are you expecting a kind of a fight of the night, gritty, back and forth type affair, or do you feel like you can go out there and dominate and make a statement?
Always mentally ready myself for that kind of fight. Like you have to mentally ready yourself for just 15 minutes of hell. Like that's one of the worst feelings in the world is not preparing for that mentally. When you're oh, I'm gonna walk right through this guy, and it turns into that kind of fight, and you're not ready for it. One of the worst feelings in the world when you haven't mentally and physically prepared for that. So I go into every fight expecting that 15 minutes are the hardest fight I've ever had in my life, and if you get a good performance, you take them out early, you take them out clean. That's just a bonus.